Before you go into this video, I would highly recommend you to go through our related video where we talk about the story of the diligent ant, where we have spoken about how an ant named Andy saves his family in an event of emergency. So this topic now gets one step further into emergency funds. That what exactly is emergency fund? I call it as a family financial safety net. It provides us with a peace of mind in challenging times that yes, there is certain stash of money or certain stash of funds which are kept aside to take care of ourselves if that certain circumstances comes in. Now it could be as simple as a job loss. It could be a big material expense which may come for the family members which you need to kind of get through it. It could be a multi-month period of no incomes at all, right? So it allows an individual to weather that storm without falling into a mental distress of कि अब क्या होगा. And in these situations सबसे ज़्यादा common क्या होता है, people end up taking more loans and liabilities because they have to tidy away that situations and they get into the situation where they will go to friends and families, banks, expensive loans, and they get trapped by the situation. So emergency fund can really help you into it. The single most important thing about emergency fund, ask yourself that the criteria of putting money aside for emergency fund is it should be liquid and accessible. Nothing else. No returns should be a concept, no taxation, nothing. It should just be accessible and it should be liquid in nature. So I thought the best way to do it is to kind of go through a list of items which generally people think they could park aside their money in emergency fund and tell you all what I think about those situations. So let's go through one by one about these situations. So the best example is cash. रोकड़ा मनी इन हैंड राइट नाउ इसके अंदर बड़े इंटरेस्टिंग फ्लेवर्स हैं इन टर्म्स ऑफ हाउ पीपल काइंड ऑफ कीप असाइड दिस मनी. आई विल गो थ्रू अ फ्यू ऑफ देम. मेट्रेस के नीचे वुड बी अ गुड आइडिया. राइस के डब्बे के अंदर, आटे के डब्बे के अंदर, या इट इज वेरी प्रिवलेंटली फॉलोड. एंड कई लोग पिलो के अंदर, एक अलग ही पिलो होगा उसमें कैश भरा होगा. या कुड बी जस्ट थिंक अबाउट इट, सेफ्टी. कहीं ये ना हो पिलो झड़काया और पैसा गया. सम पीपल विल पुट इट इनसाइड अ बुक शेल्फ. व्हाट इफ योर चाइल्ड टुक दैट बुक एंड गिव इट टू हिज फ्रेंड फॉर रीडिंग. सम पीपल आई वाज रीडिंग इनटू द एग्जांपल on one of the social media things. People said मैं phone के cover के पीछे डाल देता हूँ. Could be a good idea, but would this be sufficient to tidy for your emergency days? And what if the phone got lost? वो emergency, double emergency बन गया, right? Some good ideas could be, which I also heard about, giving it to your wife, provided खर्चा ना हो जाए उस पैसे का. Giving it to your parents, provided accessibility रहनी चाहिए. Papa mummy should be in the same place where you want the money, right? And not so ideal, I'll hesitate getting into it, but giving it to your friends. पैसा देना, वापस आना, you should be confident about it. I would rather want my emergency funds are in my area rather than going across my home. Another interesting one was putting it in suitcases. Gosh, I just said a couple of months worth of expenses, like 6-7 महीने 10 महीने. Suitcase भरने की बात नहीं कर रहा हूँ. Suitcase भरने के you will invite tax issues अगर problem आ जाए. Locker in the bank could be tricky because locker को operate करने के लिए जाना पड़ेगा, right? So you कई बार Saturday Sunday वाला situation आ जाए, locker में accessibility issue आ जाए. Locker at home, yeah, that could be a good idea. Safety is important, right? Other bits which came across was, and some of them when I was reading on some of the social media sites was quite impressive for me. Some good ideas are separate bank account. Yeah, definitely separate bank account, but debit card is a must, right? Accessibility, again, easily निकालना होना चाहिए. Fixed deposits, hit and miss. Yes, some part money could be in cash, some could be in bank account, and remaining could be in fixed deposit, which could be easily accessible. Best thing is अगर electronically break हो जाए, but अगर बैंक में जाके sign करके निकालने की जरूरत पड़े तो then it may not be a good idea. Credit card limits, hit and miss. Yeah, it could help you in swiping those amounts in, let's say, in a hospital situation or things like that. But withdrawing from a credit card, I would say I'm not very kind of comfortable with that. Interesting one could be fixed deposit का दूसरा part, corporate deposit, company deposit. Now, would that money be accessible? What about the surety वो company exist करेगी उस emergency situation में? Example याद कीजिए, in case of COVID days, not only were the families in emergency, but the companies were also in emergency situation. They were not returning back the money. So you have to be mindful of that part. Now comes in the very interesting part, where people are they loosely understand financial product. Equity shares के अंदर public sector companies के stocks में जहाँ पे dividend income आती रहेगी. Oh, for God's sake, मैंने क्या बताया, return नहीं चाहिए. अब वही आपने for example डाला जब उसकी value 1 लाख थी और जब जरूरत के टाइम आया. Remember, at times your emergency might be solely yours, but it might be also an ecological system. पूरा system की emergency हो सकती है. तब पता चला 1 लाख डाले थे 25,000 हो गए. So a no for me when it comes to equity shares for emergency funds. उसी का दूसरा corollary लोग उसको equity funds और आजकल index funds, a no-go area for me for my emergency funds. Other part could be liquid funds of mutual fund, could be a good idea, but again they may give you 1 or 2 days lag to access it. कई लोगों का बहुत ही amazing attitude था, I don't need to maintain an emergency fund, I will take it from my mummy and papa, or I'll take it from friends. फ्रेंड्स, गॉड से उनकी इमरजेंसी का क्या होगा? मतलब आपने अपनी इमरजेंसी बेलिंग वाले कॉन्सेप्ट पे लगा ली। नो गुड आइडिया फॉर मी। बोरो कर लेंगे, किससे करोगे? कौन देगा इमरजेंसी में? नाउ योर होल premise of emergency is on shaking ground, so a no area for me. Gold possibly hit and miss. Gold can be also volatile. बेचने जाओगे, कहाँ जाओगे बेचने? हॉस्पिटल में जा रहे हो, गोल्ड का टुकड़ा दे दोगे? कोई एक्सेप्ट नहीं करने वाला, बेचना पड़ेगा कहीं। So could be थोड़ा पार्ट आप सोच सकते हो कि टेल पार्ट उठा के गोल्ड में डाल दिया, बट आई एम नॉट वेरी अ बिग फैन ऑफ कीपिंग इन इमरजेंसी फंड्स इन गोल्ड। सॉवरेन गोल्ड बॉन्ड उसका ही दूसरा इटरेशन है। लोगों को लगता है सॉवरेन गोल्ड बॉन्ड गोल्ड से डिफरेंट है, रादर वो गोल्ड से भी डिफरेंट है। उसके अंदर है ना लिक्विडिटी है ऑन स्टॉक मार्केट, बट नॉट दैट मच। सो येस एंड नो। One person which I was reading one of their the messages, NPS में डालेंगे, tier 2 में निकाल सकते हैं। You need, it fails the test of accessibility and liquidity, right? टाइम लग जाएगा पैसा निकालने में। A person was daring enough to say क्रिप्टो करेंसी में डाल देंगे। मैंने मन ही मन में कहा प्रभु, oh my god, क्रिप्टो करेंसी के अंदर इमरजेंसी फंड्स डालेंगे। एक्सेसिबिलिटी, लिक्विडिटी, आई वुड से रेगुलेटरी रिस्क, सब सारी रिस्क आ जाएंगी इस जगह पे potentially. A new style of parking money is now these days those peer-to-peer lending. Some of these platforms are now offering your ability to take money whenever you want to. So you are basically depending upon a third party to fulfill their promise to give you money, and that to a lending platform. A no-go area for me honestly. कुछ लोग चिट फंड्स के बारे में सोचते हैं। Ladies at times are thinking about और families are thinking about जो kitties चलती हैं। kitty में आपको आपका पैसा मिलेगा जब जरूरत है? I don't think so. It is as liquid as you want it to be. A daring person told me, मैं अपने Zerodha के अकाउंट में मार्जिन मनी की तरह डाल दूंगा, it can be taken out on a quick basis. At least it's there. अगर मुझे कोई अपॉर्चुनिटी मिली तो मैं एक्सेस करूंगा। मोर लाइकली है वो अपॉर्चुनिटी लेकर आप अपने पैसे को नीचे ले आओगे rather than accessibility का। So the objective of going through all these examples was to kind of give you some flavor of what is important about emergency funds. How should you kind of control that money? The objective is not to get extra return. The objective is that they are accessible, liquid and safe. So you may have to kind of split your money into multiple parts. Cash you cannot ignore, irrespective of whatever we call about digital economy. At times you need really quick money. वो बैंक के ATM से भी कई बार नहीं निकल पाता. So you have some stack of money in cash, some money in your bank account, some could be in fixed deposits, liquid funds or things like that. But don't go into anything which will make your money illiquid, will take several days, जिसमें valuations का issue आए, a no-go area. So I hope that helps you to have a flavor of emergency funds. Where should you invest? Make sure that you have your emergency funds safe, accessible and liquid. If you like this video, please do share it with your friends and family members and also spread it around. Thank you so much.